Hi, welcome. My name is Kimber Worthy. I am the PhD advisor at Halogeia Data Science. This is the PhD degree requirements and timeline module. So here are your learning objectives, your timeline, overview, and course requirements. Here is essentially zooming out of what the PhD timeline looks like, and it's just a snippet of each quarter. So here at the very top, you have quarters 1 through 6. So that's your first 2 years in the program. 1 through 6 are your course requirements. All of your course requirements will be due during those 2 years. And we'll break down those 2 years and what that'll look like. So if you go down to B, quarters 1 through 3, you'll work on your research rotations, your teaching assistantship, which is TA, and your GSR with your faculty advisor who appointed you into the PhD program. Now it'll just take some flexibility and moving around your rotations between your TAs and between your GSRs, like when and where those apply. However, all of the incoming students are doing their rotations during their first quarter, and then we'll discuss when you do your second rotation and with whom. And then the next one, quarter 3, plan your summer funding. This is a very important one. Summer funding is not guaranteed in the PhD program for any of the summers within all of the PhD program, within the whole PhD program, no summer funding. And so you need to confirm with your faculty advisor whether they have TA-ships or any type of funding. If not, we highly encourage students to apply for internships. Typically, internships applications open in the winter quarter, I believe. So you can start applying in the winter for that summer funding. Quarter 4, that is fall year 2. You will need to set up your faculty committee, which consists of 3 members. One of them will be your faculty advisor. And then in quarter 5, schedule preliminary assessment exam. In your winter quarter, you'll definitely need to schedule your preliminary assessment exam. We are limited in space, and so the sooner you're able to confirm that office space or that conference room to take that preliminary assessment exam is the better it is for you in your success. And now, lastly, at the end of your spring year 2, that is your 6th quarter, the deadline is to complete your preliminary assessment exam. I do want to mention you can take the preliminary assessment exam earlier, say the second fall or second winter, but that is something to be discussed with your advisor to make sure that you are set up for success. On my end, there is no need to rush. There's no benefits to rushing unless you have bigger goals coming. So that's definitely, again, a conversation you have with your advisor to determine whether it's better for you to take it earlier on, but just know that the deadline is spring year 2. Also, another important deadline to factor in for your spring year 2 is to submit the PhD faculty commitment form. And so that I'll send out to you and your faculty advisor who is on my tracker, and they'll sign the commitment form that they will be committed to you for the remainder of your PhD program. So that way it just gives you a little extra security that you have someone who's appointed as your advisor, and I feel like it's to your benefit. Quarter 9 through 10, you have spring year 3 and summer year 3. You'll need to confirm your research qualifying exam committee, and that consists of 5 members. Please know that faculty, it's hard to get a hold of them and schedule things, especially with 5 different faculty members. So I highly encourage you to just work within that, work as early as you possibly can, as early as your rotations, and you work with different faculty members or you attend the research seminars. So just start gathering faculty names, start meeting them and interacting with them so that way they remember you. And then when you really need to find those committee, you've already bridged out and created some relationships with them. So again, 5 members that is due during your quarters 9 through 10. You will need to submit in the fall year 4. Students submit committee members to me no later than week 8. So once you submit that to me, I will then upload them for GEPA's approval. It is very important for you all to understand that we cannot move forward with your research qualifying exam until GEPA has approved all of your 5 committee members. So once they've given that approval, then you can schedule your exams. So please give yourself ample time to make sure that this is a successful endeavor. So your quarter 10 and 12, that is your year 4, students will schedule their research qualifying exam, which is also known as advanced advancement to candidacy. It is an oral exam, and you'll work closely with your committee members and your chair to determine a template and what are the expectations. And of course, they'll definitely want you to submit a proposal to them for approval ahead of time. But that is definitely something we will all work together. And I'm here to meet with you all to go more in depth into the research qualifying exam. But like I said, this is a big picture of what to expect from your PhD program and your timeline. And another, I didn't add at the very bottom, I didn't add a fifth number because that is your final thesis, and that depends ultimately on how far along you achieved with your advanced to candidacy. So you are expected 3 quarters after you've advanced to candidacy to complete your final dissertation. But again, that is determined by you and your advisor. So here, let's dive a little bit deeper into the program overview. So here you have Group A, which are your foundational courses, which many of them are prerequisites for your Group B courses. These are known as your core courses. These have the data science heavy topics that you'll really learn, and that knowledge within those courses will help you dive deeper into your research. And then you have your Group C elective courses. And so the remainder units, you'll take your Group C courses. And I do highly advise that you don't take Group Cs during your first year in the PhD program. I predominantly hope you focus on Group A and Group B during your first year, but Group Cs are your electives, and those are to help you just branch out and touch on a subject that you need to strengthen your research. Here is the total units. So your PhD course requirements consist of your Group A foundational courses. It says 0 to 12 units, and I'll explain why. 12 units is the max number of units we'll accept into the PhD program as your degree or towards your degree. But it does say 0 because some students come in already completed graduate level courses that are these foundational courses. And so they're not required to retake them, but they do petition out of those courses. And so the courses have been waived. And so that's why there's a 0. Then you have Group B core courses. These are a total of 24 units. These are non-negotiable. So you have 4 core courses, which consist of 16 unit and letter grade only. So please remember these are letter grade courses. And once we go into that PhD program, and then you have 2 courses that you can select from Group Bs. Here on the other side, you have Group C's, professional preparation. These consist of a total of 4 units for all of these courses. So that's kind of nice, right? Gives you a little bit of a break. So you have teacher assistantship, you have academic survival skills, and faculty research seminar. And all those courses consist of 4 units. And then the general electives are between 12 and 24 units. And again, it goes back to your Group A foundational courses. How many units did you take in Group A? And then that'll determine how many courses and units you complete in Group C's. And here's a QR code for you to scan, and then you can go to our website and really dive very deep into what courses we offer. Here are Group A preparational courses. So you have 200 data science programming, data science management, numerical linear algebra, introduction to optimization, probability and statistics for data science. And again, as I mentioned earlier, only a max of 3 of these courses will apply to your degree. So please plan accordingly. And to help you plan accordingly, we have this next slide. So here, what are Group A courses prerequisites for? You have DSE 200, 202, 210, 211, and 212. And so when you look at all those courses in the blue, those are our Group A courses, and everything below that are what they're prerequisites for. So you'll need 210 numerical linear algebra if you want to take 240 machine learning, right? Now, if you aren't really interested in taking, let's say, the 200 and you're not interested in taking 204B, then I guess I wouldn't really advise you to take 200, right? If you're not planning on taking 204B, unless you really want to take 200, I'm not going to tell you not to take 200 if you really are interested in that subject line. I'm just going to advise you to plan accordingly and take the 3 of the Group A courses that really will help support you in that factor of prerequisites for the Group B courses. And I did highlight and put an asterisk next to them, but those that are highlighted are your core required Group B courses. And as you can tell, 210 and 212 are probably the most important prerequisite courses that you can take within this PhD program because of all the courses that require those. So we'll dive a little bit deeper into your Group B core courses. So here at the very top, these are your core courses. So you're going to pick 4 classes, which consist of DSC 240 Machine Learning, 260 Data Ethics and Fairness, and DSC 241 Statistical Models. Here you have DSC 204A, Scalable Data Systems, or DSC 206. So those are the two, that's your or situation between the core required Group B courses. And then when you dive down at the bottom, in addition, doctoral students are required to take at least 2 of the remaining courses. So you're allowed to pick between that long list of Group B courses up to 2. I mean, you can pick more if you wanted to use that as your elective units. That's optional, but definitely a minimum of 2 courses are required within that section. Group C elective courses. So again, Group C is meant for you to dive in a specialty that really allows you to just heighten your research topic. So this is a conversation you can have with your advisor to see what type of elective courses makes the most sense for you, and they can give you advice, or you can just research and look through our pre-approved elective lists. But these are just some examples. Some of the elective research topics for DSC 299. DSC 299 will apply as an elective if you already have a master's degree. All of our DSC 291s are electives, and then of course, we have our list of pre-approved electives. Group C professional preparation and elective courses. So this is that professional preparatory courses that we were talking about that only consist of 4 units. The research rotation, I know it falls under these professional preparational courses, but I don't think of research rotation within that category because the 4 units that I mentioned, the TA, the 599 is only consist of 2 units. The faculty research seminar is 1 unit, and the academic survival skills is also 1 unit. So that's 4 units. Your research rotation will flex between 8 to 12 units. Minimum of 8, I believe max of 12. Okay. And then, of course, the general electives and specialization courses, that is something you can dive in a little bit deeper and what makes the most sense for you and your research. And 52 units for full-time students can complete 52 units in a 5 to 6 quarters. And that's that timeline that I showed you earlier on, that between 1 and 6 quarter, you can complete all of these courses, all of the rotations, the research, that is taken into effect. That's taken into account here. If you look at fall 25, winter 26, and spring 26, these are kind of our projected of what we recommend you completing so that way you can finish the program or the coursework in a timely manner. And as hopefully you all know, we have a PhD course requirement waivers. So if you believe you've taken some of these courses that we offer in the program and you want to petition out of it, you're more than welcome to submit those petitions. And again, as I mentioned earlier, if you have a master's degree that is similar to the data science, we can utilize the 8 units of DSC 299 graduate research for letter grade for your group electives, your Group C elective courses. And I will upload these slides into Canvas so that way you'll have the opportunity to download them. If there are any links that you want to visit more in depth, you're more than welcome to. And thank you.